Today's discussion is attracting love and answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on the culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. Welcome aboard. February 1st, the first day of February, which, of course, is my favorite month. Why? Because I was born in February. February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. Isn't that a weird day to be born on? 2/2/1982. Welcome aboard, everybody. To those who are new, welcome. To those who are old, who've been around for quite some time, welcome. Let's see who's in the chat here. Maria Stefani, welcome. Daryl Blankenship, good to see you, my friend. It's been some time. Nina, the wonderful mod, is in town, but in the live, doing all our great modding as we need, so she will direct you if you guys need to figure out how to do a reading and all that stuff. Rashida, welcome, good to see you. Sydney Aaron, my love, hello. Yes, love that cruisy sphere. I say it's cruisyverse. Welcome to the cruisyverse, is what I like to say. Noel, great to see you. Ali Taylor, welcome, my love. Pelican Vortex, hello, good to see you too. Lisa Cruz, what up? Nancy Underhill, welcome, from New Brunswick. Jersey folk. Know who that is. Anthony, what's up, man? Regina Fisher and more will be trickling in. I can't see others who are watching. Can just see those who are in the chat. Christopher Witecki, what up, my brother, man? Can only see people who are in the chat, but those of you who are watching, welcome aboard too. For those of you who are new, I do, of course, a collective read first, and I'll start doing a read for the collective, and the collective meaning those who are in the room. And if you want a personal question answered, $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the bio there, so you can do that as well. And the topic tonight is actually attracting love, and I figure for the month of Aquarius, month of February, we can get into that. And Rita Alexander, welcome, and CC, welcome. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Groundhog Day. So, without further ado, let's get into the collective reading. And let's see what's going on there. This way we can get into the one-on-one readings and one-on-one questions sooner rather than later. Okay? Let's shuffle them on up. All right, so, as far as the continuation from the previous reads, I remember there were a lot of the message was about setting boundaries, and of course then letting go of those you should be setting boundaries with, and then last week was about a lot of you guys have been pushed forward, right? And you feeling that current pushing you forward. And those of you who have been doing the work, who have been letting go of things, been feeling the current push you forward in a positive sense, to where you feel like you're actually being guided, being led. And I think that's a wonderful thing too, because that means spirit is working with you as well as your soul, because when we release those anchors, of course, then we start allowing our soul to evolve, and that current feels kind of good. Sometimes it can be scary for those of you because you don't know what the hell's happening, but it's actually very I would say peaceful, validating, because you know intuitively that you're being led, and you're being directed, and you're being guided. And all that will unfold a lot this year. So let's see what the message is now. The cards are pretty crisp tonight. Last week they were tough because we had the moon in Leo last week. So, you know, for me in Aquarius, it could be a tough encounter. I love my Leos. I give Leos a hard time because they're kind of like my opponent per se. We're equal. We're kind of like perfect opposites, but at the same time. Okay. Let's see. Let's pull these cards here. Wow. Interesting. Let's shuffle the oracles too. A lot of strong emotional people in the room, I have to say. A lot of guys, and I think this is going to be very much an emotional read, to be honest. I just want to pull a couple of oracles on top of this. It really is about bringing a balance now, and also kind of confirming your realizations that you've been making in your life right now. Wow. You just can't make this stuff up. I can't. Let me just pull one more clarification card too. Okay, got it. So this is a continuation from last week's read, actually. And a lot of this has to do with, you guys have been, I don't want to say making judgments or putting things into the proper balance, which is great because it's funny. The first card was about the boundaries, right? You're setting the boundaries and figuring out your own will be done, as earth as it is in heaven, right? And making those realizations about the self that gives you the proper focus, right? So it's a very emotional read. So I think now that you guys have been setting the tone for what you're wanting to move forward on with your relationships, with the circumstances in your life when it comes to career and all these other great things that we have in our lives that we want to experience, now that you guys have been setting the tone, it's time to understand the duality that you guys have, especially a lot of you guys in the room, because a lot of you guys are very strong emotional beings, strong emotional creatures, meaning that you know what you want. You are in tune with your emotions. You're not for one to hold them back or repress those emotions. So that's a great thing. But then understanding that creative side too, not having to be so harsh. So, I would say so Virgo about everything. It's okay to be a little airy. It's okay to be a little aloof and allow yourself to be more creative and more spontaneous. So even though things are thrusting you forward, you don't have to really push yourself forward. It is, like I said previously before shuffling the cards, allowing the current to take you. And understanding where to direct that strong, tense, emotional responses that you have and impulses. Not just emotional responses, but the impulses that you feel to create, to want to love, to want to, do so many different new things and changing paradigms in your life. It's important to understand the other side of that too, which is to relax and to unwind, to be creative and to be very spontaneous as well as intuitive and letting things flow. Right? And letting things happen organically. Because, at this time, a lot of guys feel like, what? I have a lot before me. I have a lot of situations that, one, that might be challenging, but two, I have a lot of opportunities that I can actually start connecting with now. So the veil has been lifted. So a lot of you guys in the room, we've been going on this journey. You guys have been going on this journey together. So collectively, you guys have been shifting together. So the important message is to not fear. Don't fear what you see in front of you. Don't fear the opportunity, because a lot of times you guys, when you get in circumstances that you don't want to be in, you quickly want to get out of them, but then when you get out of them, you're like, oh my God, I'm afraid of what's happening next. I have the fear of the unknown. Now, the unknown just means opportunity, and the unknown means space for realization. Right? And so please don't let the unknown put any type of fear or trepidation in what you're doing in your life, simply because you haven't made the realization yet. Because a lot of times when you clear out the baggage, you clear out those anchors, you have to take the time to say, what the hell do I want next? I know what I generally want, but now it's time to be more specific. And I remember last week, when the abundance card pulled out, it was, the abundance card. I'm like, oh yeah, saying that your abundance is so cliche. Oh, I'm abundant. No shit. You're abundant. Duh. But specifying which type of abundance you want to work on. And same thing here. All these opportunities that that are ahead of you and situations that you can connect in on, What specifically do you want from those experiences? What specifically do you want to go and attach onto? What specifically do you feel like is calling you? What expression do you feel like is calling you? That's the realization to be made, but there's no way in hell you can make those realizations as you're in those past circumstances that are suffocating you and oversaturating your voice, your perspective, your emotions, your intuition. Now that that's gone, now you have the time to realize the specifics and the expressions and the expansions and the growth. Now it's time that you have the time to do so because you cleared out all the noise. And that's something that's very important to understand, because a lot of you have made such great progress, but then you beat yourselves up because I don't know now. I really don't know what to do next. It's like, you do. You do. You just need to give yourself time to make the realization of what to do next. So that's what they're saying. Don't let opportunity and the fear of the unknown bring fear. Don't let it, paralyze you. Understand that having the fear of the unknown just means you have space for realization. And I would say realization a lot of times is spirit kind of guiding us into those next steps and kind of laying out, or at least not so much laying out, but showing to you the path that's being laid out, showing you the results that actually have, in the astral plane manifested in your trajectory because of the work that you've done. And all we have to do is kind of follow it now and feel those impulses. That's what we need to be doing now. Stop overthinking. And stop being so cutthroat in your approach of, I have to do it this way. It's got to be, get out of that. It's time to be very organic and very fluid with your approach on all those things. Okay? I feel like I need to do a two-parter to this for some reason. So I feel like the first poll is kind of a first parter, and I'm going into a second parter. Parter. I wish I had hair to part. Because, a lot of times you guys don't understand that, even when you clean house, not just figuratively speaking, literally, when you clean a space out, then you have to sit and think like, oh, okay, where do I want to place things now in the space? So that happens in every dynamic and level of our being, okay? So, once more, when it's clear, that's time to make the realization, time to be creative, not time to be so abrupt and, neurotic. And let me tell you something. I am Virgo rising, Aquarius clearly, but Virgo rising, which I understand being neurotic and neuroticism very well. And I had to learn how to balance the two. Right? Let's just do a second poll. This is a two-parter for the collective. Sometimes I feel led to, sometimes I don't. In this case, they're like, do it. I'm like, yes, spirit. I shall follow your command. I love it. Okay. I'm not reading the reversals on that they're saying to me. Another kind of thing, and I love how it ends on the Fool card. Ten of Swords about being defeated, but in this positioning, Ten of Swords and the Eight of Swords shortly after, and then the Fool. That's how it came out, okay? Again, I'm not a tarot reader, but I use tarot for the collective. I don't need cards. I can just tune in. But as far as, feeling defeated, being defeated could be a very positive thing too. But also accepting the fact that certain circumstances that you could not change, you're letting go of. You're saying, I can't win that. I'm not going to try to win it. Great. Because all of that realization summons the power within, and you realize I do have the resources. I do have the intellectual, spiritual, and physical resources to take what I didn't accomplish and put it into a space where it becomes beneficial, and a space where I actually can become successful in, because you understand what the impossible is versus what is the possible. Many times you guys have been trying to fix the impossible or do the impossible, like changing people, or trying to prove something to someone or get someone else to make a realization, which that's impossible. That's not your job, and it's not your job to assume their karma. It's not your job to change their karma. Not your job. And every time you try to change somebody, you're trying to take possession of their karma. Not your job. Not your job. But when you realize all this energy and intellect that you've invested in somebody else, you then realize, well, look, it doesn't work with them, but I do have all this intellectual resources I can put into something that is beneficial for me. That is the realization. right now. So if you're in this unknown of, I'm afraid of what's happening next, I have all these opportunities, things I can do, but I don't know what to do next. Look at all the I would say intellectual resources you utilized in the past circumstances that didn't go anywhere, and understand your talents and understand what you have within you that gives you that power. To think that you can change, the fact that you think that you can change something or do the inevitable is a reflection of the power that you know that you have within. But understanding how to direct that wisely and effectively and towards beneficial. That's the key. And that's where, of course, the Fool card comes in New Beginnings. And kind of like, again, it really is kind of looking before you leap at the same time. You know, it is time for you to kind of take those steps forward, but be, I don't want to say cautious, but be conscious. Right? Because if you're conscious, you wouldn't have to be cautious. So be very conscious of what you're doing. Be conscious of what you need to realize. Be conscious of even the past. I said last week, a lot of these New Age communities are saying, don't talk in the past. Don't think of the past. Don't think of the future. Be present, be present, be present. That doesn't serve anybody. Because, again, if you don't see where you came from and how you evolved, then you don't understand what you're actually growing into. So get out of the ideas that you can only talk a certain way, and get out of that. Because that only restricts you and puts you into more mental gymnastics just because you think the universe has to listen to you, which is bullshit. We are controlling our universe, per se. Our spiritual essence, our soul essence, and connection to spirit, we're rearranging our reality. We're rearranging the universe, not the universe itself. So don't say thank you, universe, thank you, spirit, because we're the ones that are rearranging that. Okay, so you need to look at your evolution. You need to understand how you're evolving and understand the karmic lesson, the thread between that connects your experiences, both in previous incarnations as well as in this carnation, right? And you get a glimpse of that. If you don't understand your past carnations, you can get a glimpse of the consistency of the challenges in your life. It's that simple. And understanding how you need to evolve from those challenges. And look at the strength that you are actually engaging or projecting in those circumstances to understand how to redirect that and put it in a positive sense. We all have characteristics and traits that can have two poles, a duality to them, a positive and a negative. We can be, for example, you can be very sensitive, but your sensitivity could either, one, be very empathetic and sensitive to express your emotion, to hear people, to be very empathetic, or your sensitivity can make you ego-driven, to where if you're out of balance, you're always focused on being hurt and so sensitive. People can't tell you anything. You're always easily offended, and you become so narcissistic in that sense. See how sensitivity has two poles, a duality. So you want to make sure that the traits and the skill sets and the characteristics that you have is being projected in the empowering side of that. You can call it the positive. I see the empowering aspect of it. The negative is the disempowering aspect of it, or the polarity of that. Make sure you are understanding everything that you've been fighting in your life. You take that strength and those skill sets, talents, whatever you want to call them, intellect, and you put it in the empowering pole. And you start understanding where you stand with yourself. That's the flow this year, baby. That's the New Beginnings. That's where you start allowing yourself to, I would say, trust your soul, trust your own being and the call of spirit to take those steps forward. Because your intuition now is being heightened, because you've let go of those distraction filters. Now your intuition is dominant. Now your intuition can start driving the show. Now your intuition is clear. Now your intuition is saying to you, oh, I can see the bigger picture. Now the intuition is now the dominant sense for you to understand how to maneuver in your life. That is the point. And so, and when you rely on the intuition, you don't need to physically maybe have the logical reasoning of why things will unfold. You just feel the impulse, you move forward, and things unfold. That's the organic life I was speaking of before, and this is the time for that. Welcome to the Age of Aquarius, babies. Let me tell you something. The Age of Aquarius is very much that, in flow, organic, right? Very much about the self and rebirth, as well as with the collective. So it's time to get organic, even with our spiritual and intellectual evolution. And like I've been saying over and over again for the past month or so, those of you who have been doing the work, the season of Aquarius and even 2024 will feel like a pleasant ride. Things are moving. A lot of things are happening very quickly. And so if you're not in balance, you have not been doing the work and holding on to fear, negative things, being selfish, then guess what? You're going to feel like you're in a tornado this year, because this current is not, you're not going to be handling the current very well. You'll be thrusted back and forth to things because you have not gathered direction for yourself. You have not been doing the work. And when I say direction, I'm not talking about understanding your career choices and mapping out your physical conditions. I'm not talking about that direction. I'm talking about inner direction. A lot of you guys think direction means, what's my career choice? What's my job choice? What's my love choice? That is not direction. Those are results of experiences of growth. And whenever you want something, you get it when you grow and when you evolve. So when I'm talking about direction, I'm talking direction of your inner self, of understanding what you need to do, that's what's best for yourself. And when you think about it, it's very interesting that we have to keep telling ourselves to do better for ourselves. We have to keep telling ourselves, treat ourselves well. We have to focus so hard on making sure we're treating ourselves with love and care. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird that we have to spend so much time and money on self-help just to understand how to love ourselves? That's an issue. So if any of you guys have an issue why things are not manifesting in your life, it's because you're lacking the self-love and you're lacking the formula to self-love, which goes right into my topic right now of attracting love. Because how the hell are you going to attract love if you don't love yourself? And it's stupidly simple. But a lot of you guys, when you think about attracting love, you're thinking about, ways of doing it. Like, is it online dating? Is it, do I go out to the bars? I get a lot of these questions about, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And I always say, what you need to start with is clearing out your past. Because, too many people are trying to move into relationships with so much shit from their past. Let's keep it simple, shall we? Let's call it out for what it is. And a lot of you guys are just wanting love because you don't want to be alone. I'm alone. I don't like this feeling. You're trying to get out of it instead of going through it. So you got to go through the process of getting rid of the past relationship garbage, the past insecurities that are unresolved. Because you'll get to a point, because usually what happens is you keep just manifesting and attracting the same repetition of the same relationships, the same bastards, the same fools. So just keep manifesting because it's just a reflection that you haven't evolved. You haven't allowed yourself to set the boundaries or allow yourself to understand the value that you possess that you need in return. So you keep carrying that. So you keep repeating the same thing. And so a lot of times what happens is people get so frustrated about having the same experiences, they then stop. They no longer attract it because they realize, I don't want that. I don't want that imbalance. I don't want the liar. I don't want the cheater. I don't want the narcissist. I don't want the selfish prick. We just say we don't want it. Okay, then we stop attracting that. But the issue is then we don't realize what we need and what we are on the soul level as a person, as a being. We don't do that process. So then when people say stuck, I'm not attracting anything. I don't know, I'm just not meeting anybody. I don't know what I'm doing everything. And then they start falling into this victim mentality of the universe is punishing me. Which, I mean, come on. It's like saying gravity's punishing you because you can't fly. No. Well, the problem is when you don't make the realization of direction. You know what you don't want. You know what you don't want in those relationships. What do you really deserve? What does compatibility mean for you? Right? If you've been dating and meeting so many needy individuals that suck from you, why are you giving so much? Maybe you should stop giving so much and allow yourself to start receiving and imagining what would it look like if someone's loving me. I guarantee you a lot of you guys who are having relationship issues are always, if you think about love, you're always thinking about loving the other person. You're always imagining and seeing in your eyes you loving them. You need to start flipping that perspective and start realizing what it's like to be loved and visualizing what it's like to be loved, and flipping that and understanding the receptivity of being loved. Guess what? Then that's the flow, ebb and flow of connection, of attracting love. Because what the hell does that even mean, attracting love? What do you even mean by that? A lot of you guys mean a life partner, a romantic partner, which involves intimacy, right? An intimate connection. So what does that mean for you, intimate connection too? Define these things. And so many people were so hung up over sexual activity, but they want a lover, but then they don't attract a lover because they're so insecure with sexual and intimacy. Or they push that away. These are things that you have to realize. It's not so much about learning how to attract love. It's learning and understanding what is getting in the way of you from attracting love. What is repressing you from attracting love? That's the key. Because once you get rid of that crap, you'll start attracting love naturally. You wouldn't have to try anything. You'd walk in a room, they spot you out. I've been on both sides of the spectrum to understand this through my life of learning. I've been to both sides. People is attracted to me and what the hell's going on, and also then not having that attraction. So I've learned both aspects and sides of that. So attracting love is as simple as understanding what's preventing you from loving, and usually that is preventing you from understanding preventing you from loving yourself, and spending the time on things that is also stripping you of that love and that imbalance. So remember, it's not about where do you got to go, what do you got to do. It's about releasing the past, understanding what compatibility really means for you, and owning the fuck out of it. Owning it. A lot of you guys don't own that dynamic in your life. A lot of you guys are contradicting yourselves. If you really look deep down inside, you'll contradict yourself and realize that, I want all these things, but I'm scared of letting somebody in my space. Ding, ding, ding. Well, that's why it's not coming in. Do that inner work. And that inner work doesn't mean you have to finish that inner work to then meet somebody. Just as long as you're on track of doing that inner work, releasing and allowing yourself to be loved and to love yourself and understanding what that really means. Again, partners will be attracted to you like white on rice. And yes, I just said that. White on rice. At least I didn't say flies on shit. Because that would have been a worse analogy. So attracting love is actually a natural essence. It's a result of loving yourself and knowing your value. That simple. There's no other formula. There's no other mental gymnastics you have to do to understand and attract love. It's as simple as knowing yourself, knowing your value, and understanding the love that you have and deserve within. It is that fucking simple. Stop making it difficult. Stop trying to find this formula and hieroglyphics and all these, to-do lists and all these books and everything of that nature to figure out what am I doing wrong? How to attract me? Understanding this person. No. Because when you're in flow and you attract the person that's like you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to try to understand anything. You just continue with a person that's on the same parallel as you, and you can grow together and make the same realizations. And as long as you have the I would say conscious and intention of wanting to just learn more about yourself and allow yourself to grow, bam, it's that simple. And I know because I dabbled with both, and that's the magic. That's the magic. And people always say to me that people are always attracted to me, and always, and it's an air about me. You know why? Because I've always focused on bettering myself. I've always focused on enriching my life. Period. Done deal. End of story. You guys do that. Again, you'll realize, even if you just start saying, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to put more time to myself, watch what happens that week. It can happen in a week. Watch what happens. In just a week of doing that. All right. This is a long collective, long discussion, but I feel like it's necessary today. Last week wasn't as long, but this week I feel like you just need more of that information. But again, attracting love is a result of self-love. Attracting love is a result of knowing your self-worth and knowing what you actually are compatible with and what you're not compatible with, and owning it and cherishing that and valuing that. That's how you attract love, and being excited about nurturing yourself, and being excited about preserving yourself, and being excited about expanding yourself and evolving the self. That is a formula to attracting love, and that can happen simplistically. And always, one more thing I'm going to say before I close and open up doing the one-on-one reads is that you ever notice when you're in a relationship and you break up, all of a sudden people are just like attracted to you when you break up with somebody? And all of a sudden they just start coming around you when you break up with out of a relationship. That's because you're in the mindset of, I'm focusing on me right now. I want to better myself and get over this relationship. People are attracted to that. When you're focusing on empowering yourself, people love that energy, which is why people throw themselves at celebrities, because celebrities are doing their own thing. They're accomplishing their own goals. So people are all enamored by that. They want that energy. That's the secret. That's how you attract love. All right. We are done. I'm done ranting, I'm done preaching, I am done spitting, and I'm done doing nasal drip pushes, which you hear me go because I'm getting over a massive sinus infection. Let's get into the live readings now. I'll see who's first. Let's get in it. All right, let's see who's going. What's going on with you guys in the chat over here? I found a way to put the chat on the screen. It's not very pretty like I like, but I figure for people after the stream. Okay, let's see who's gone first. We have Daryl Blankenship. Card pull, right? Is that what I'm reading here? Yeah, okay. This is for Dale. Card pull for Daryl Blankenship, and happy birthday. Thank you very much. All right, 42, guys. Can you believe that? 42. Where did this time fly from? I'm freaking 42. Thank you, CC. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sydney, you're a doll. You always go for the ride. I love that I know you got Leo in you too, but there's air in you. You're always. I said you got Leo in you. Look what pulls out. The Leo card right when I say that. Isn't that amazing? I said, did you have Leo somewhere in you? And then the Leo card pulled out as I'm talking about it. I love it. All right, this is for Daryl. Daryl, you feel fragmented to me. I'm just kind of going with. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you. Daryl feels fragmented. Pull an oracle on this. Daryl, I don't know. I gotta say this too. I feel like we're gonna be working with you at some point in the future. I don't know. I feel like Christopher and I both kind of felt that you will be a part of something. We just don't know what yet, Daryl. So that's kind of part of the read too, I guess. Okay. All right. I feel like I was saying before I was pulling the cards for you, Daryl. I feel like there's a very scattered energy with you. But they're saying you should be right now focused on investments right now, financial investments. And they're saying you kind of need to isolate for a moment to really gather. I don't want to say the financial perspective, but more kind of investment and work investment perspective that you need to kind of set the protection right now, they're saying. Again, I feel like there's might be people pulling at you or people coming at you from different angles right now that you need to just kind of block it all out and kind of spend more time in isolation at the moment. The Death card came in reverse, which is kind of a mild transformation. I feel like they're saying to me, if you do get in that kind of isolation mode right now, focus on financial investments in that regard, then there'll be a nice detour, a nice change. Especially with all these different, I just feel like there's all these different eyes coming at you from different angles, or people coming from different angles that you need to really kind of get out of that. Okay, you've been isolated already. Well, then they're confirming to do that right now. You need to be in that for a while, okay? For like maybe a couple months. Well, maybe that's not a while, but a couple months, okay? Just saying that you need to learn about protection, like, and I don't really like the word protection because it sounds like we're vulnerable. We're not vulnerable, but you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable, okay? So when they're saying protection, they're saying that you want to make sure you understand to stop feeding these fucking energies. And I'm cursing tonight. I'm sorry, I'm fired. But stop feeding these energies. Because, it's interesting, and I hate to sound cliche, but, you come from a state of purity, Daryl. You're a very pure soul. You're a very genuine heart, genuine soul person. And you have to really kind of understand what that means to be a pure individual, to be sincere, to be honest, to be forthright, right? To not play games, have ulterior motives. You have to understand that. You have to understand that is a quality that you can't just throw out. That needs to click in. And so I feel like you're getting that, but it's time to really sit in that. You got to soak in it. And listen, guys in the room, everyone in the room, listen, because even though you realize something, doesn't mean, okay, now I'm ready for the next chapter. Sometimes you got to soak in that realization. Sometimes you got to dwell in that realization and let it become you and let it saturate your being. So let that soak within you, and so, because you're feeling very fragmented, Daryl, but what you're doing now, you need to, and releasing that, Daryl, releasing all that is the point too, because a lot of that, the releasing, the crying is saying, you understand. Let me change the tone here to the theta waves. You understand, I have a lot to give. I have a lot that, I'm hurt. I've been hurting myself, and I've been allowing people to hurt me, and that sucks, because you understand you deserve better. So that realization on its own is going to be a big transformation for you. So you're on that verge. But, I feel like they're saying focus on these financial investments or work. And so, because I feel like there's going to be some investment opportunities coming about for you as well. And again, the visual art or visual design stuff, might take flight. And that might be why the business card is showing up for you, okay? That you might start getting into the business side, that the visual creative aspect, and then where you feel like you're expressing yourself and you're finding that passion rewards of doing so as you're in this kind of isolation mode to agree, as you're pushing all that shit aside. Okay? So it's a good thing. It's emotional, but it's a really good, I would say, indication of change and transformation. It's a really good indication of that. Okay? Yeah, but look, let me say, Daryl, you do bring it. You always bring it. You got to start letting others bring it and expect others to bring it, okay? Because you always bring it, right? Let other people show, because they got to start bringing it. And if they don't bring it, they don't have time. They don't deserve your time or space. All right? Okay, Mrs. Sydney Aaron. Water. All right. Sydney Aaron, happy birthday, Eve. Beautiful. Oh, thank you very much. You guys are too kind. It's just a birthday. I just like my birthday because I'm proud to be an Aquarius. That's why I kind of like to vocalize my birthday. I'm Aquarius, baby. I'm proud to be an Aquarius. Question 1. Any insight into what's going on at school with my son? Will he be changing schools for fall 2024? Any advice? Let's see. What's going on with your son at school? Nothing overt comes at me with this. I think there's an issue with the teacher. There's a female teacher, or there's either teacher or I don't know if it's a principal, whatever you call them, or headmaster. I just like he's being pulled in a negative way with a teacher in the school. I don't want to say he's targeted. I don't want to say that because I don't feel that, but I feel like he's being picked on by a teacher. And I don't think he's getting the right guidance from this teacher. So, but everything else feels fine. Despite that, everything else feels fine with the school. I don't think your son's listening though either. So there's an issue. There's a teacher that doesn't understand how to really get through to him. He's not listening, but at the same time, they're not communicating well with him either. So there's a conflict there for me with the teacher. All right. Socially, oh my God, it's fun. Right when I'm like socially, then you're like anything socially. So that timing was funny. Socially, that's why I look down, because I want to be in tune with my read. I don't see much socially. I just feel like he might be isolating a little bit, pulling away. Nothing out of the ordinary. It feels more like a teacher, though. Other kids picking. I just feel like when I see kids picking at each other, that's kind of what we all have gone through, kind of that picking. He just feels very reserved to me. But I think that, yeah, but that's the thing, Melo. There's really nothing going on, right? There's really nothing. Like I'm saying, it seems there's an issue with the teacher he's not listening. The teacher's not conveying anything. But I feel like, again, he might be kind of to himself, and there's really nothing going on. I just think he's just being reserved, but he's also being a kid. He's just being a kid, right? And so that's just part of the growing process. I feel like he can't express himself. Like there's a problem with him to communicate how he feels, a problem for him to express himself, and so like he's not really finding his rhythm, right? But that's kind of normal. He'll find it, because I was saying, other than this, like there was one teacher I'm not fond of, or this, whatever energy that I feel like there might be a glitch with. It just seems normal, like a normal evolution. He just feels more reserved. I think he'll get past that, but that's kind of normal for the growth process too. I don't want you to think it's some sort of personal issue, as it is kind of a natural issue of growth and learning about yourself and adapting. So that's what it feels like to me. Will he be changing schools? That's up to you, and that's up to you. That you're in control of that. If he's going to be changing schools, that's not necessarily written in the stars. But I feel like most likely if he were to change schools, it would be a similar situation. So I think it's more for him, you know. I personally don't know if I like the school, right? I think that another school would be better. There's something about the school that feels tight to me or tense to me, you know, something about the school that feels very tense to me. So there might be another school that you might find that could be a little more a looser energy. Maybe the people that gather there are more open, more, you know, freer and more eccentric. You know, there might be another school in that nature. You know, so I don't necessarily see in the stars that he's going to be changing schools, but it might be a good thing to find a different essence. This school feels very tense to me. So. Well, there you go. That's the tightness I'm feeling. I must be psychic, right? That's what I'm feeling. There's a tense, a strictness, and a teach. So, yeah, I would recommend another school. I don't know if it feels too tight and heavy. And that makes sense. Being born a Catholic, I understand it. So, yeah. So you might want to look into that. All right. Let's go here back to where we have Sydney. We have Ashley Sandoval. Card pull for Ashley Sandoval. Yeah, and see, when questions like that are very simple, I dive deep. I will remotely go to the school myself and see, that's why it takes me, I'll go through it to be specific. I'll go through his experience, and I'll remotely view the school, his interaction, to get a grasp of what the parameters are. I want to see all that. You know, because I initially said, no, it feels to me like he's very, you know, it's just his growth, him isolating and just learning how to, you know, adapt. But I want to, dive into the environment, so then I can see the school environment, because it felt tense to me, the school environment. And I don't know if it's a headmaster or teacher in that environment. It seems that was pressuring him, and just didn't care for it. The new school would be better. Did you? I thought that was a second question. Let me see. No, Cindy would do now. I thought I answered 2. Oh, sorry. Missed it. Okay. Is there anything to know about my mom at this time? I haven't heard from her. Thank you. I thought what's happening at my son's school and will we be changing schools? I counted that as 2 questions. So even though it's 2 questions of 1 question, that's why. So, okay. Is there anything to know about my mom at this time? I haven't heard from her. Thank you. Let me quickly tap in. I'll make sure I don't become long-winded. Nothing out of the ordinary with your mom either. You know, it's kind of the same old to me. Your mom's kind of, how do I say this? She's a type of mother that's like, if the child doesn't reach out, she's not going to reach out. And if the child isn't showing that type of affection, then I'm not going to show that affection. I'm just going to. There seems to be like a gamey interaction with her, with your mother. So, because I say, why is she not calling? So she has that thought process. So there's a weird essence to your relationship with her in that sense for me. She feels a little spiteful on this. I don't feel like her health is any different than it has been. So it's not like really you haven't heard from her because of health issues. I just feel like she's being a little spiteful. You know, and kind of, there's a resentment there too. You know, a little bit of resentment there with her. Yeah, I hope that's her, because otherwise, who the hell am I reading? No, but there's resentment there, and I feel like she acts like a child sometimes. Not to be disrespectful, but she acts like a child sometimes. And I think right now she's kind of like pouty, and I think she's kind of having issues with a lot of other people too. Anyway, moving on from that, but just same old Cindy with her. Nothing differently. Health is kind of the same it was, and you know. Okay, Ashley Sandoval, card please, or card pull. Sorry. And those of you watching who want to get a question in, get it in, because in about 10 minutes I'm going to close them down. Close down questions. So if you want to get them in now. Because I'll be shutting it down in about 10 minutes. Yeah, Sydney, leave it where it is. If you have an impulse to connect, do it on your intuition. If your intuition tells you to connect on intuition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, jeez. Ashley, you're caught between something. Okay. 2 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 5 of Wands. Friction. I feel like you're caught between 2 people. I was going to say circumstances, but it might be 2 circumstances between 2 people. Caught in the middle. And I think that there's so much of this chaos that, you know, sometimes I say you don't have to pick a side, just be diplomatic. But I think in this case, you might have to pick a side or make a choice. That, you know, I think trying to be diplomatic or trying to be, you know, optimistic in this sense, and not so much optimistic, but diplomatic, and, you know, may not serve you in this situation between these 2 people or 2 sides or 2 choices. It's time to pick a side, or time to make a decision, time to make a choice. Because by not doing so, things are becoming very fragmented and chaotic. You know, and even the mentality behind it is becoming chaotic. So, simple message. Time to make a decision. Time to pick a side. In this case, you're going to have to. Let me pull some oracles on this too, because... yeah, it feels like 2 people, 2 circumstances between 2 people, something of that nature. Let me just pull some more oracles. Gosh. You have to be okay with extremes sometimes, okay? Let me put the name again here. Ashley, you need to be okay with extremes sometimes. I think part of you sometimes will waver and not make a decision. Oh, I don't be too extreme. Sometimes you might have to be extreme, or embrace that extremes, or know when to be extreme. Right? Because they're saying you're giving a lot of these situations power that you don't need to, and you just have to release that and make it. Sometimes you have to release that by making an extreme decision. And they're saying now it's time to do so. Stop being in between. Stop being in betwixt. And then once you make that decision, then you'll feel like things are kind of releasing for you. The anchor's been released, and you'll feel at peace with that. If the other side, or there's disappointment on the other decision, you'll know by making the decision and moving forward is the best decision. Okay, moving forward and getting out of, you know, staying in between the chaos, you know. And it could be as simple as making a simple decision too. But I feel like there's a specific circumstance, two people, 2 circumstances. Okay. All right. Excuse me. I don't mean to cough on the thing. We have Ashley, now Grace. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything, going in order, because sometimes I can be too fast. Grace Bergeron. I'm concerned about my neighbor. I'm getting sketchy vibes. I'm hearing things that are concerning. Should I be worried? Should I report it? First, I have to make sure you're correct about that. Okay, so a lot of times people are suspicious about something that's completely wrong. I have to make sure you're correct about that, and then I'm going to look into it. Oof. I'm hearing like... you know, I'm hearing like either a slapping sound or, you know, a child screaming. Yeah, it feels like there's a chaotic environment there. Either a child scream or a female scream. I just hear like a slapping, and like even, you know, I'm seeing something thrown into a bookcase. There's a very aggressive male in that home. Okay? And I feel like if there's a daughter or a wife or something of that nature, or 2 females, or maybe a daughter that comes to visit or something, I just feel like they're under this person's spell, or, you know, there's something negative with this. So I would keep an eye open for sure, because whatever's going on there doesn't feel good. There's a very aggressive male there. And I heard slapping. I don't know if that's what you're hearing. I don't know what you're hearing, but I heard slapping in there, and something thrust against furniture, screaming, and I saw two female energies with the one male energy, and like that, it seems to be the problem or the conflict. So there's something heavy going on around there. Dogs, it's not just a dog. There's something going on in the house. It's got to be more than a dog barking, my love. Where are we going here? Let me go back to this. Yeah, but circumstantial, Ashley. Think of circumstantials of two decisions, and it might be a future thing about two decisions in the future that you have to make. Okay, so it could be also a warning or something in the future to be careful of about two decisions. So it's not so much you having two people love. Don't just think love. It could be like two sides of people, family people, or circumstances. It's not love. Don't think two people. It's like love. Think of that outside the box of how to make decisions about two things, and it might be something that's going to come up in the near future that you're going to have to make a decision on, that you're going to waver on. It could be very, I would say, preventative. Okay, Ashley? So just be open-minded to that. So you have more than two people in your life right now. It's not about dating. It wasn't dating. It was circumstantial to me, like I said. That involved people or circumstantial is what I said. So make sure you if you move forward and you have that situation, that you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make a choice. Okay? So just look out for that. But Grace, keep your ear open for that. I don't like what's going inside that house. Back to Grace. I don't like what's going on inside the home. There seems to be like aggressive male there and something going on. So they're saying keep an ear open for that. Because I heard some sort of like slapping or pushing of furniture, occurrences of that nature is what I sensed there. So just make sure you pay attention to what you're hearing. It's not just a dog barking. It just could be a stupid dog that doesn't shut up, right? That could be the problem. I'm saying inside the home there's a little bit of something going on. Whether even it could be someone who comes to visit, whatever, I don't know, but okay. Worried about it? I don't want to say you should be worried about it because it doesn't feel consistent to me, because it feels like there's someone that visits that happens. So I would say just be conscious of it. Just be on the lookout for it is what I would say. Okay. Yeah, there's something tense in the house though for me. There's tension in that home. Okay. Okay, Maria Johnson, anything I need to focus on during my job search? I don't know. I mean, you're focusing on your job search. The question's off. Let me see. Let me go beyond the question, because the question doesn't make sense. What are you really trying to ask me here? The only thing they're saying is to be open to circumstances that are outside of what you think might connect with you. Like thinking about different environments. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like you should be doing. Focus on that. Let me see. We'll go back to Grace really quickly. Actually, I'll go to Grace after this. They're just saying just be open. Just be open to different circumstances is what they're saying. I feel like your job search will end probably by mid-February. Mid-February, late February is where I feel like it would end. So I would just look out for that. So I think you're doing things fine. It's more about being open to different possibilities in that sense. So, yeah. That's what I would do, and that's what I look into. But mid-February to me, mid to late February feels like I think you'll find a latch on opportunity. So it really isn't so much you have to do. It's like you're doing that, be open to different possibilities. But I feel like it'll happen by mid-February. Okay, back to Grace. No lizard, but the maintenance man comes in and out of there. See, that's what I'm sensing. I feel like it's someone who remember I said it was someone who visits there. Something feels tense to me. You hear the violence. See, you're confusing me, Grace. You hear the violence. I hear it, right? No one lives there, but the maintenance man comes in and out, and then you hear a dog barking. So that's my I would say that's my read on that, right? There's someone coming in and out of there visiting that's caused the crisis, and there's tension there, male energy. So maybe he brings people over, and there's I do feel like there's something tense there. Just keep a lookout to that. So you're kind of confirming what I'm saying, or was saying, but yeah, I would keep an eye out on that. Again, it feels like a very tense male, and maybe two females that maybe visit or something of that nature that come in. It felt like someone going there, like I said before. Yeah. It's abusive to me. So again, I heard the slapping. So remember I said I heard the slapping and a cry. So it could possibly be that too. Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I got, and then throwing something against the furniture, something of that nature. But I mean, I can see all that. I sensed it, right? So, yeah, I would definitely look out for that. I would definitely keep some sort of notation of it for sure. MJ, any particular environment or industry? I kept getting pulled to real estate for some reason, MJ. So, and maybe that's the openness they're saying, or somehow connecting with the real estate industry somehow. Because I looked at your picture, and I saw the picture on here. I just felt like there's a pull to real estate. So it might be unbeknownst to you, but that might be the realization that they're trying to get you to understand and think outside the box. Something connected or similar to the real estate environment, and so it might be an opportunity that comes about that maybe is something you didn't think about that all of a sudden comes out. Like, yeah, I definitely would love to be part of that. That's kind of the openness they're saying about that, okay? So to me, it feels like real estate industry or connecting with the real estate industry to a certain degree, right? Somehow. And that would be the outside the box aspect, okay? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Grace, again, if you've been hearing that abuse, then, I mean, I know to me, it feels like you hear it, but you suspect it, but it's not clear enough. That's what I'm saying, to be on the lookout for it so you can document that. Because if you hear it a second time, and like Rashida was saying, to record it, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to, again, be on the lookout of that. But it feels, like I said, to me, a very, very heavy male that feels like there's a visitation, and, I hear the slapping like that, and I hear this crying coming from that, and then throwing against the furniture, and I saw two females connected with the male, so that's what I'm seeing. So I'm saying, yes, it feels heavy to me. It feels, in that abusive sense. So I agree. Anything's worth reporting, or at least mentioning and saying, I hear this next door, I just at least I can check up on it, 100%. But yeah, to me, Maria, I'm going like back and forth between three because I'm reading the chat here. But I feel like it's going to be, that idea will be like something you didn't expect, but makes sense why it would come to you and how you can utilize your talents and skill sets. So it might seem like left field, but I feel like it'll make sense when it's presented to you, because I feel like you're already on board to that. That was the only advice it gave me, is to be open, because I feel like by, mid-February, even by the 20th, possibly the latest, that you might, it'll make sense. It's going to connect. So I don't think you'll be waiting for long on that. Okay, Regina Fisher. Okay, hi. Okay. Recently connected with a friend from back home, Ryan. We haven't seen each other in 30 years, but are enjoying each other's interaction so much. We have plans to meet in a couple weeks. Even though he lives out of state, what's your read? Okay, Regina. Let's see. All right. Okay, I see the appeal. I see the attraction there. I feel like this will turn into something consistent. It feels fun to me, and I really feel like he's a nice guy. I just think he bounces around a lot. I feel like he would want commitment and, at some point, but I feel like he doesn't allow himself to. Like, I feel like he would still, I want commitment, then he oversaturates himself with so many other things that he, doesn't allow himself to really envelop with any type of commitment. But I feel like you guys would establish a rhythm, and it seems like you'll talk with him and establish something with him, not that he wouldn't want to be committal. I feel like he would kind of, not allow himself because he's so, again, I seem saturated with so many other things or busy with so many other things. But have fun with this. I think that it would bring out a great, connection experience. He feels genuine to me. He feels sincere. I feel like what you see is what you get with him. I don't think he holds back on much, so that's a good thing. I see him either traveling a lot or bouncing around a lot. So I think that's kind of the issue. But I think you'll have fun and make a good dynamic from that. It has a potential to be a relationship if he understands how to balance crap in his life. Then it could work. If he understands, I can spend time with my relationship here, then I can have time to do work over here, And so that's the only thing I feel like is his downside. But I think in time, if things become consistent, he might be able to finagle, but it would be a challenge because I feel like he just has all this other things in his life that he's so focusing on that he wouldn't give so much dedication to being committed, even though he would want to be. It's his own distraction, I feel like, oversaturate with life or other relationships. No, just in life. I feel like when he likes someone, he likes someone. He goes for that, right? But in his mind, he'll be entertaining a relationship, right? He likes it. He doesn't realize how much time he needs to invest in it because he's investing time here, he's investing time with this situation, investing time at work here and traveling. So he's like, yeah, I'm talking to this girl. I like her. She's great. But he doesn't realize that he's not engaging enough to maintain a relationship. That's his problem, right? Because he thinks, oh yeah, I'm into this girl. It's great. She's the only one. But he's not getting enough time. That's the issue I find with that. So it'd be fun and it would be genuine, but just why not experiment with that a little bit? You know what I mean? Because it's a different energy. He doesn't feel douchey to me like maybe some of your past interactions. He feels more on par with being genuine, but. And it's possible he might change or realize I do want to spend more time building a relationship, but that's something I can't predict because you never know, how he would, react to your interaction, so yeah. Stephanie Williams card pull, and then I have a PayPal one. Actually, let me see if the PayPal came first or not. Because there was a PayPal link that came before this one. And it's a card pull for Rita Awenda. Okay. So card pull for Rita, and I will close these down. Is Nina in the room? Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the connection. It might be a good one to get you kind of launched into a fun kind of pure dynamic. Even though he has that glitch, right, of not knowing how to balance his time that well. I think it would be a good connection for you to be like, it just feels like it feels genuine. It feels mutual, in that sense. That'd be good to experience that. And again, it has a potential to turn to a relationship if he can manage his time better, because you might just get frustrated that he's not managing his time with you very well. Right? All right, we have Rita Awender card pull. Maria's having an issue here. It's hard to tell because we don't know what you're using. We're not really tech support in a sense. We don't know your platform, what the issues are, but usually the apps are fine. They work well. Or you should be able just to click on if you have a PayPal account or Venmo, just click on the link. Should be that easy. But I'm going to try to beg for money. And I will not do a free one just because of problems, because then that kind of, craps on those who actually did end up paying. So, to be fair. All right, it's for Rita. Okay, these cards are just really, it's taking, this is a long shuffle for this here. Okay, this is so interesting. It's gonna be very vague. I mean, card pulls are vague. I don't even have the person in front of me. So you guys have to take that in consideration too. Card pulls, I don't see you, just very vague, so it's going to be general. I try to get as specific as I can with these card pulls, but you're not in front of me, a lot of you guys, so let's take it for what it is. If you're in a session with me, it's different. But I think overall, I'm trying to see where this is linking to as well. Here we go with making a decision between two things again. The generalization of this is, it's almost like they're saying you were slowing yourself down because you, kind of like a similar read before, you weren't making a decision on something or a decision on people in your life, or it could be even general. I know the last person took it literal, as it's more circumstantial. And so I feel like this is a similar read to the other poll that I did about, and I'll show the cards. A Chariot card in reverse is slow movement. Devil card in the middle is all about addiction and compulsive energy. The Six of Wands after that, it's about actually moving forward, so it's telling a story. So I asked a clarification card on the Devil card, which is in, I got the Two of Swords, which is all about, you know, caught between two decisions, two different paradigms. So with you, Rita, so it seems like again that you've been, you know, it's a similar read, and I'm taking time on this because I'm like, it's a similar read to the other individual, but it feels like you were slowing yourself down because you were caught between two decisions again, or caught between two ideas or two circumstances. But I feel like you let go of one of them, or let go of them, to where you are being thrusted forward. You are starting to see more movement. So it is kind of that similar read to the other quadrant about, you know, except hers is more future based. Yours is more past tense. Hers is more like you're going to need to. You know, you're going to have to choose between two circumstances, and you have to make a decision. You're going to stop, you know, trying to play diplomatic. Hers is more future. Yours is more like kind of past tense. You were slowing yourself down because of that kind of physical dense energy, or the physical dense, you know, decision-making processes. And I feel like now you've kind of like put that into perspective and being thrusted forward. So I think there's going to be a lot more movement for you. You know, I think you are being thrusted forward, like I've been saying with the collective read. You are getting thrusted forward, because that's my collective card about being thrusted forward last week. So I think you are on par with that. It does feel like there's a relationship that has to be left in the past, and that you've left in the past. I feel like there's a male energy. That, you know, it could be a family member or just a male energy that, you know, maybe you're struggling with, you know, letting go and leaving in the past, but you finally are, and that even could be emotionally or subconsciously that you finally have done this. You kind of let go of the attachments to this, and so they're saying that's good. Now that's what's going to be, you know, catapulting you forward, both in career and financial. You know, so that's a general read, and they're saying don't be loyal just for the sake of being loyal to things, right? Don't be loyal just because you have to. You have to understand what to be loyal to, and what you are actually, you know, is it worth your loyalty, they're saying. All right? So that's why they're saying, you know, maybe overall you might be caught in between things, and why you're slowing yourself down, because the things that you might have been loyal to don't deserve your loyalty. And be keen on that. And be keen on the things that you're being loyal on. You know, but I feel like you started that new paradigm anyway, so I feel like you're going to see a lot of that movement with, I said, just generally speaking, with career, relationships. I feel like that's moving forward for you anyways. All right? So remember, card pulls aren't so specific. They're very general because there's a card pull. But that's kind of what I'm sensing overall. Of course, in a one-on-one session, we would go specifically. But for card pulls, it's very general. Because I'm just doing that, pulling cards. And getting the essence of what it is. But I like that read, but I also like that it feels like there's been a realization that you've made, you know. Not saying anyone's holding you back right now from the past. I'm saying you've let go of that from the past, and that, you know, whatever you've left in the past is now in the past, that you've been springing forward. You've done the work is the point I'm saying. That was kind of the essence of this, is that, you know, whatever you've done in your life that you had to make a decision on, that you've let it go. That was more, like I said, kind of past situation they wanted to acknowledge. The other current was a future situation. This is a past situation. So the point is that there isn't anybody holding you back right now. The confirmation was, Rita, is that you let it go. because I feel like there was a male energy or some sort of energy that you actually let stay in your past, and that you have to understand the loyalty aspects of what you're choosing to be loyal to. It's more of that message of saying you are being thrusted forward because you have been, letting go of those things. So it's more of a confirmation for you, and understanding what you want to be, what you need to be loyal to, what deserves your loyalty. That's a tweak. That's an emotional read on that. So again, I didn't say there's something holding you back right now. They're saying that you've let go of that and that you've had been loyal to things that you need to let go of. It was a confirmation. So it's important to understand the context of what I'm saying, because it seems like a couple guys have been misinterpreting what I've been saying. It gives a complete different read on it. So hear the words I'm saying, because I didn't say you are being held back. I said you're no longer being held back, and to understand what has held you back in the past. As I said with the other querent who misinterpreted as being love, and I said no, you're gonna have to make circumstantial decisions. So it's important to hear the context. This one little misread on the context throws the read completely off. And I've noticed that within a couple of these other reads here, because it's completely different. If you're going to have to make a decision between two things and need to embrace the extremes of something, that's different of what to expect. But in this case, the Spirit is actually confirming to you about that balance, because they're saying before you were not easily in the free-flowing energy, that you were being held back either subconsciously or indirectly by energy that was not benefiting you. And so they're saying you've learned that. That's why I said this is more past tense. So you're being thrusted forward. So I think a lot is opening up for you in this year because of that. And you'll be connecting with situations that are definitely more loyal for you, and that are going to be beneficial in a sense to latch onto, to be loyal to you. And you'll have that reciprocation of loyalty. That was the point of the read. So it's very, very important. And I just got one more from, let me close this down too. Okay, we have one more, and that was Stephanie, right? No, we have Stephanie here, and then we have one more there. This is for Stephanie Williams. So I want you guys to hear the context that I'm saying when I'm giving you reads, guys. Listen to the context, because the important thing is the context of it. And that's why you can rewatch it and see, how I've been repeating that, because it could be completely different read. And that's usually why I repeat myself 5-6 times again, because I feel like they're not getting it, or it's not receiving the way it's being expressed. Because I don't like repeating myself at all. Okay, this is for Stephanie Williams, just doing the card pull again. And I want to say one thing too about the last read I said too with Rita, is what I was saying too is the whole point of that was moving forward and how to see moving forward. That was the point of that read. And more so about where to express your loyalty. That's the point of that read. The point of that read is saying that because you're in this new shape of paradigm is to be conscious of that. That was the point of that read. The point of that read was also saying because of these great changes that you've done and evolved and the spiritual decisions that you've made, that now you're being sprung forward. But to remember to be conscious of actually the loyalty aspects of where to connect in and making sure you're being keen on who's being loyal to you. That was the point of that read. It's giving me like context, which I think is great. The result of that. So it's like more of a confirmation read, kind of expressing the past, and you maybe need to realize more and embrace those changes and fully be conscious of those changes, which is why Spirit wants to bring that up. So one specific's got to have a question or a session. The card pulls are going to be very general, but I'm doing the best that I can with card pulls on that. It's okay, Maria. The energy has been this way all day. It's not just you. My tech has been acting cray-cray this today. I have not been heard by people today with people that I care about. They're not hearing me, so it's just been a weird day energetically, but it's part of a shifting process. I said before my live, I feel I'm going to have to repeat myself a lot this session. because of my experience today. I'm like, I'm gonna have to repeat myself a lot today, so it's just in the air. And this is for Stephanie. Still shuffling for Stephanie. Thank you. No, the energy's been off. And Christopher, while I'm shuffling, tell us what's going on with the planets tonight, and today, because my tech has been going bad. Everybody I've been speaking today is not hearing what I'm saying. All right, still for Stephanie. Appreciate, Stephanie, you waiting. Oh my God, it's a similar. I'm gonna shoot myself with this same. I'm gonna shuffle again. I'm not gonna give the same message again. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Same message to the two people that didn't get the message correctly. I'm getting a similar message for this. I'm not doing that. We're gonna go in another direction. Give me another message for this individual. I'm not repeating it. Not repeating that message. Give me something else that's valuable, Spirit, because I've been shuffling for 5 minutes. Even I get frustrated. Alright, Stephanie, I'm going for you. I'm not going to repeat the same message that was going on before. Okay. Finances are going to change. This is a financial read for Stephanie. Yeah, finances seem to be changing for you. I feel like you're going to get a hold of your finances this year. I feel like debts that have been kind of weighing you down. I feel like you'll be able to tackle debts. They're showing like a clearance of that. Almost like a release of your financial strain that has been going on. I just want to take some more oracle cards here. Yeah, and I feel like someone might help you do this, or somebody might come, either a financial advisor, or someone might help you to, maybe get a better financial picture aspect of what's going on. But they're saying that a lot of this like debt and burden financially it's going to start resolving this year, a lot of it this year. So this is very much saying if you've had any type of worries and concerns financially, which I'm sure a lot of people do, they're saying a lot of that's going to be resolved this year, especially if it comes to paying off debts or even getting a bigger picture of your finances. I think some might inspire you for this. So there's going to be a lot of changes financially, I feel like, too. Not overnight, but it feels like a progression. And I think that that's where you're going to start having a better idea of how you can invest your money, if that's something you get involved with. And they're saying also a lot of the secrets or hidden information that you've been maybe I would say this because the moon card just came up. Anything that you might have been spending that you've not been realizing, all that is going to come to light. Any type of bad investments, how you've been spending your money, all these things will be realized to you. So I feel like you get a financial course, in a sense, of what's been going wrong, and I see you taking control over that financially, and I feel like there'll be assistance on this. So I think that's great as far as looking forward with this year, especially being able to pay off some debts and having some solutions to that. So they're saying you've been working on this, or you've been trying to figure that out. You've been trying to get better at that. So they're saying it's going to be paying off, and I feel like someone will help to assist, or you'll meet with someone to help you assist with that. I'm going to show you guys again. This card for a lot of you guys keeps coming up. It came up to Gabrielle, I think her name was, and came up to Rita, with these two decisions and, caught between two situations and so forth. That keeps coming up. That's why I tossed it aside. I'm sick of seeing it. And it came out again for you, too. So those of you that I was talking about, just two decision things, look at your life, think clearly, and ask yourself, if you have been in a situation where you couldn't pick a side, or you've been struggling with picking a side and making a choice, look deep about this. Make the realizations, and especially look in the future and understand when the situations arrive where you have to make a decision, you're afraid on doing so, push yourself and don't be afraid of making extremes. Because this is the third time this has come up. It's why I wanted to put it away, because I got sick of that repetitive message and people really not grasping it. Because I was going to put myself through that again. But I want to let you know it came up for you too, okay? And so it might be at the same time that you might have to make a decision, important decision that will help you with your finances too, and understand you'll have to kind of let go of something specific that could be causing financial strain. And I think that'll come to realization too. I think that's more future, but to me, it's more about a realization and financial freedom, and the financial control is what I feel like for moving forward for you. Okay, so I think that's great. I mean, who wouldn't want to hear that, right? Last one is I believe it's Maria on the PayPal that just came through, right? I believe it's and just PayPal just logged me out, even though I'm logged in. Okay. All right. So you paid Maria $2.15. So do you just want to ask a question, or what? Okay. Hell. Okay. First question is, how do I get out of my health? Well, let's see what's going on with your health right now. 2. Let's see what's going on with your health, because and just Stephanie, this isn't it just came for you too. Financial card, Ace of Pentacles. So some sort of financial assistance might be coming through. FYI, if you're trying to get a loan, it's going to come through. If there's going to be some sort of inheritance, it's coming through. If you're looking to get a raise, it's coming through. Again, Stephanie. Okay. All right. All day today, I feel like I have not been heard. And also, you tell me, Christopher, why I'm not being heard today? What's going on? Why are people not hearing me? Can you? What's going on with my vibe today? All day today, when I talk to people, they just want to talk my ear off. They don't want to hear me. They're not listening to me. So maybe, Christopher, what's going on today with today's vibe? We have to be like fighting to be heard. I've had all day today. People just like talking my ear off, not hearing me, and so I'm just like hearing everybody else, and so I want to know what's going on with that, Christopher. What's the vibe today? Because I'm kind of over it. Okay, we're doing Maria, and then we're done. See, I mean, even I get frustrated. We all get frustrated. We're human, right? We wouldn't have dynamic if we didn't get frustrated. Let me get into your help, because just want to see what's going on there too, Maria. Yeah, again, I go straight to the gut. Yeah, I'm going to say this. You have to start nurturing your gut. Because right when I look at the body, I go straight to the gut, and I see all this inflammation in the gut. There's issues with the blood. Circulation. And I feel like it's causing like some respiratory issue, but I feel like it's just a result because the gut has inflammation. This is causing some also issues with the circulation and the blood. So I would say the core of it goes to me for the gut, which means is that you're not on a good regimen. I kind of also feel like there's one. Yeah, I've seen this a lot too. I'm just trying to make sure. There's something you're taking that's thinning the blood. I wouldn't say it's a blood thinner, but there's something you're taking that is thinning the blood, which is causing circulation issues. So you're going to have to kind of, I would say, be mindful of this. Because I think that if you're focusing on the gut, you're actually having a good regimen. Because it feels acidic to me, so I think that you need to have a better balance. Because it feels like you don't have the nutrients that you need, right? I think it's a lot of problems. People think they eat healthy, but then they realize they're not actually getting the nutrients that they need for their body. I feel like that you need probiotics. or you've been oversaturated. Because I see they look at the gut and they're just putting this wrap of probiotics around it. So I don't know if they're saying you're maybe taking it is not doing anything, or you need it. I can't tell the difference between this, right? So I think you need to focus on gut health, for sure. And so I think that once you do, then you'll start realizing that the blood will start being, have better circulation. But I don't know if you're taking something that's thinning your blood, if it's a medication or you're taking a blood thinner. Something's thinning the blood that doesn't need to be, which is causing inflammation issue, circulation issues. So I would eliminate that source or whatever you're taking that could be possibly thinning the blood, and focus on gut health. So, again, the things I think that you need to take, let me go deficiency. Your vitamin D is low. I think you need a healthier source of calcium. A healthier source of calcium, I'm hearing. Yes, I said D. I'm zinc too. I see a lot of zinc deficiencies lately in people. So whether you're deficient, I'm gonna say deficient. I think you need more zinc. I'll just put it in that context. So make sure you're taking a zinc supplement for now. D seemed low. You need a healthy calcium supplement. I've seen this a lot too, where zinc and magnesium goes hand in hand, and I think that you need some more magnesium. As far as food consumption, in situations like this, I always feel the need for healthier fats and making sure you're actually being mindful of healthier fats and proteins. I think your diet is sporadic in a sense, but regimented at the same time. So you might not be understanding what you need. You might be thinking what you're doing is healthy, but it isn't giving the nutrients. And I think that's what you have to be more keen on. Okay? But it starts with gut health for me, with you. And again, I see the issues with the blood and the circulation, or something's also thinning the blood, and it might cause some respiratory issues, but that could also just be acid reflux, too. That could be giving you an illusion of a respiratory. So that's what I would do. And there is also an emotional component to this. It feels emotional. It feels very emotional to me. So I really think that you have to understand, as simple as this sounds, too, is to how to release. You're not allowing yourself to release stress. You spend too much time managing stress, and I think that's, you need to release stress and stop managing stress on the emotional side. Lost over 10 pounds already and more. All I do is pass blood and water or weeks. Okay, probiotics, and all I take is sea moss, and that is barely. That's not giving you nutrients, love. That's not enough for your body. No wonder why I feel like you need, the gut is suffering right now, and so, yeah, and I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned that, Rashida, because I was going to say with magnesium, I'd find it in a food source. I don't usually recommend magnesium supplement. I would say get magnesium from a food source. So I'm glad you reminded me, Rashida. You're almost like reading my mind, because I wanted to make sure I clarified on that too. So thank you, Rashida, for bringing, it's almost like you are spiritually reminding me. Yes, I would look for magnesium in a food source. Just eating sea moss ain't going to do it. And so you have to understand if your gut is out of whack, and if your gut is, not getting what it needs, it's going to get rid of anything that it needs. And with the emotional side I just mentioned of you managing stress and not releasing stress, just think about how you're purging and not allowing to digest. Same thing with the stress. You're not purging stress. You're digesting too much stress. So your body's kind of doing a mirroring effect of that. So you're going to have to understand how to release stress and understand what is yours, what is not yours, and start focusing on the what you need on your regimen. If you're on a blood thinner or something that you're taking thins out the blood, that needs to stop. Whatever that might be. I think once you focus on it, then yeah, and you have to work on the emotional, because a lot of this is emotional too. A lot of these like eating issues, I feel like people can't digest anything, is all emotional, because there's no way in hell their body's gonna say, I'm gonna get rid of, I can't digest food that it needs. That's emotional, so working on that, work on the emotional part, healing yourself, letting go of stress, letting go of things that you feel like you're responsible for. So yeah, Probiotic X, calcium, a good source of calcium, magnesium through a food source, zinc I would recommend in a supplement, and a good source of calcium is what you need. But remember, I also said as far as food source, you need to remember some healthier fats and proteins. I would recommend staying away from refined carbs. Simple carbs. You need if you can do any type of grains, you need to be sprouted grain. You got to stay away from the processed right now too. Okay, thank you, Kelly, for that. Once you get that in balance and the emotional, then yes. Exactly, and don't go too long. Exactly, and by the way, and thank you, Rashida, for adding that too. You should always get these things checked out. Always, right? And by multiple opinions, not just one opinion. You need 2 opinions. Okay. Someone would be dead if I released my stress. I eat. The only supplement is sea moss and Evoke and butter and proteins and veggies. Yeah, the balance seems off to me, Maria. But let me get your second question because I can't stay here all night. We're going to like a whole full session at this point. But that's my read on that. So let me see the second question because I have to wrap this up here. What was the second question, my love? I don't understand this. I'm ready to go do maid and go bye-bye, but I got 2 kids, so it's complicated. I don't understand what the second question is. If you can fill me in the second question, we'll get to that too. Okay? But my love, you're going to have to release the stress. You can't hold on to that. That's making you sick too. Okay? Where's your second question? Can you type it in, Maria? Because I've lost it. If you can type in the second question, and then we'll wrap this up here. Because I believe that was it. Second question, type it in, and we'll get there. But that was along with the health. I need a whole session for these types of questions, guys. Okay. Because a lot of you guys are just, it's a question that really requires me to break everything down. I have a lot to say, so just a simple 1 question, 5 minutes for health is it requires a lot, And when I'm in a session, I break it down, in the specifics and how to maneuver and the advice. So just FYI, this is a live, short, quick questions, health issues. I spend a good half hour on in a session, if not a full session if needed, to get all the specifics. Love you too, Sydney. But Maria, I need the second question. Type it in so I can end the live. And I want to see if Christopher had said anything about my question. People not hearing me today. It's been irritating. Did he say anything here? Money's willing for Taurus now. Jupiter's at Okay, here it is. What can you tell me about my divorce? We'll go as I'm dealing with the biggest abusive narcissistic man in human form. Well, I found your second question, my love. Thank you. Well, this is the problem, my love. That's the problem. And so clearly, what I was saying before about the stress, that's the problem. And so, you have to ask yourself, what's more important? You taking care of yourself or, and you need a full session for this, and so you're asking questions, all these questions. This is not a live format. It needs to be very much dived into and delved into very, very, I would say, easily, with patience, with care. So again, simplistically speaking, you have to decide for what is more important, your well-being or giving this person power and control. What's more important, you're reacting to the person that you already know how he's behaving, or nurturing yourself and take care of yourself and keeping yourself healthy? What's more important? Is it more important to be surprised about someone who who I always say expect the expected. So at some point, it's a no-brainer how he's going to respond. The question is, how are you going to react to it? And that's what you have to learn. So you have to understand that you have to put what's important to you. And so it's divorcing. So therefore, that energy should not affect you anymore. That energy should no longer be stressing you out any longer. It's moving forward. The focus needs to be on your health. You need encouragement because you know what to do to deal with your husband. But you need encouragement and understanding of how to move. You need motivation is what I would say. You need support. right? And so you need more than just a question on a live. You need an actual, a mentor. You need someone to really kind of guide you through the process, a therapist. You need someone that can actively keep you on track, that can actively remind you that you need to stay balanced, to remind you how you're letting this individual saturate your mind. So you need support. So a therapist, a mentor, someone who you to talk to constantly to keep you in a proper mind state as you're going through this process. There's no magic wand. What do I do? You know what you're doing. You're divorcing. But what you aren't doing is taking care of yourself fully. And what you're doing is you're allowing all the stress for that person to become saturated within you. That's the problem. Okay? So it's not about keeping yourself protected. It's about stopping yourself to feed it. Stop feeding it. Stop letting what this energy this individual is, stop reacting to that. And do what you need to do wisely to keep yourself out of harm's way, in a sense of having support and reaching out to others, right, that you can rely on. Okay? So even though you guys live in the same household, that's just tough to begin with. Personally, if on a human form, I would just move in, see if I could live with a family member if it's that hard, or go with a friend or someone who can really assist if it's that difficult. That you can't be in the same household. And so there's different parameters you'll have to take. They may not be easy, but you have to ask yourself, what is the best for the greater good? What's best for the picture? You need someone to sit down and talk this out with you, Melissa or Maria. Again, there's no magic wand. It's a development. It's a way of being you have to change and shift. It's a way of learning self-care and learning how to not respond and to endure and encompass yourself and overcome yourself with all that stress. That is what you need to learn. Being aware and just saying, I know what it is not enough. You need that mentorship. You need that guidance. You need that constant motivation and support. And again, a therapist can help you with this to keep you on track. So that's a process. It's a process that you have to learn, because you endured all this from this relationship, and I spent enough time on this that I have to close. But you spend all this time in this relationship that you've encumbered all of that stress, and you're living in it, and you're sitting in it, right? So the fact that you still are, and it's still affecting you, means that there needs to be a shift in the way you're processing and reacting to it. Okay? So again, I hope I'm being heard, because I've not been heard today by it seems to be a thing. I have to keep explaining myself, and that's been my frustration, my day today. So it's not you guys. It's just been annoying that I'm not being heard. So so I'm making sure I'm being very clear. But Maria, you need support and guidance through this time. And I think that would be a wonderful thing for you, because you need to understand how to respond and understand how to shift the mindset, and that requires patience and care. Okay. I'm not saying just to disengage, my love. I know you're responding to feedback. Take the general essence, my love. Take the general essence of it. I understand you have kids. I saw kids there. The point I'm starting to say is about mental priorities. Okay, mental priorities. When I say disengage, doesn't mean all of a sudden you walk out the door and say, bye guys. I'm saying you disengage in a sense of you don't react to the same behavior that you've been reacting to for many years that's not serving a purpose on reacting to. It's kind of saying, okay, whatever. That's what I'm saying by disengaging, is that you're not reacting to it anymore. That's what I'm saying. You're not reacting to the belligerence. You're not reacting to the negative responses. You're not reacting. You're just like, whatever. You're pushing that away. You're not enduring that. You have to understand, when he says something to you, it hurts you, you carry that and you wear the stress. That's what I'm talking about, disengaging. I'm not saying walk out of the house. What I am saying is, if it's so difficult for you, you'd find a solution for you and the children to live somewhere else if you can. It may not be easy, but if you can't do that, then you have to find a way to disengage from the energy that you're just patronizing him. You're just being, you know what I'm saying? In that context is what I'm saying. So, I would not let you set up all these parameters of that. I can't because this, I'm doing this, I'm aware. You don't do that to yourself, my love. You got to do better for yourself in that sense. I'm going to keep going because you're bringing these points up and I'm addressing them. So, you have to stop putting those boundaries, but this, but that. You have the power to disengage in the way I'm saying to. And again, the best word I can say to do so is patronizing. Just patronize him. If he's being, very belligerent, okay, yeah, you're right, whatever, okay, that's what you want to hear, and you move on. You don't bring it on. to you. That's what I'm saying, because that is affecting your health. And, you know, and so, yes, you need support. You don't have support, which is why I'm being vocal about this, which is why I'm spending extra time to help motivate you on this, because you don't have support. And you're not allowing those to be supportive for you. You need to start allowing people to be supportive for you. You got to start reaching out to people that care for you as support. You need that. I mean, you need that love. You need that energy. You need someone to be there to lift you up, to push and motivate you. I tell a lot of people these things in this room who seeks self-help. I say, you know what you have to do, and I'll tell you what you have to do, and you know it. The problem is you're not doing it. What you need is a cheerleader. And many times people are going through a breakup, and they know what they have to do, but they're processing. You just need a cheerleader. You got this. Keep doing it. Go for it. And so what you need is something of that nature, someone around you who's a cheerleader. Many of you guys need that. Many of you guys need that. So that's what I would recommend on that. It's too dynamic of a situation for a 10-minute read, you know. So, and I think that once you dive in and give yourself the time to have the therapy on it, then I think you'll start finding that when the consistency of support, you'll be able to kind of find your strength through it, and you make better decisions to support your health and to support your overall well-being, and then it's going to click. Then it will click for you, Maria, and that's going to be the best part, is when it clicks. It's going to click. Like, I get it. I see what I was doing. I was pulling it. I was, responsible, and I know it's going to happen. That's why I've been so passionate about it, because I know it's going to happen for you. But I want to be a voice of strength for you. I want to be a voice of encouragement for you. I want to be a voice of not like, I feel so bad for you. I'm a voice of, no, we're going to do this. We're going to push forward. You need that energy, and I'm putting that energy behind you. That's the point of this. Okay? All right. Good evening. Hello, Haley. Goodbye, Haley. Let me tell you something, guys. You guys need people rooting for you. You can't, if you guys are just wallowing in circumstances, just, it's okay, it's not going to work. Sometimes we got to be intense and push a good positive energy and encouragement to, that's energy we're giving someone. That's energy I'm giving Maria. I'm giving you that energy, which will I hope you receive the energy. I hope you receive it, because then you can take that energy and give yourself that motivation. I know, guys, I love a lot of you guys, but some of you guys are just not hearing it. You're not just me, but not hearing you're missing the word from spirit, right? And you're trying to process it in the 3-dimensional format. You guys got to take a step out of that sometimes and look beyond that. It happens to me. It happens to all of us, right? It comes the best of me. Sometimes I'm like not thinking outside the box. I'm still looking this dense world. Happens to me too. So I'm not preaching that, saying that I don't do it. I do it too. And I have to kind of push myself to get out of that too, to see a bigger picture and being objective. And so, that is the point. And the point is having a community of people and support around you is number one. Because again, we're all smart. We all know what we want. We all know what we need. The problem is we need the encouragement to get it done. We need the encouragement, the constant motivation, that energy that people can give to us and that we can share to revive ourselves, to maneuver through these circumstances, to change the circumstances. That's important. That's what's invaluable. So don't take that for granted. When you have your friends telling you can do better, you got this, and that's good energy. Because if you look back, it's because those friendships that actually got you through it. Okay? So everyone in the chat is group hugging. I'm motivating. Okay? Oh, shush, Christopher. I don't ghost. If anything, I've been ghosted, and I don't ghost. I think ghosting is very cowardly. I don't ghost. I never ghosted people. I actually, tell people what it is. So, but you got this, Maria. You have this. But remember, the importance of this is, Maria, is one, what's more important? Your health and your well-being, because that's what's going to sustain your children. You got to be around for your children. So when you put it in that context, all the other stuff that you have been reacting to and holding on to, you'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not reacting to that. And it's a process, but we got your back. We got your back. Everybody in this room got your back. Everyone in this room is sending you energy, and everybody in this room is sending you that encouragement. Everybody in this room is sending all that stuff, sending all that motivation. Okay, we all got that. And please, Maria, yes, receive that energy. Right? Receive it. Take it. Yeah. I wonder if Christopher has been, ghosted by an Aquarius and is a little burnt out by that. I wonder why. It's the second time he's mentioned that to me, by the way. Because I guess some Aquarians could ghost. I'm not one to ghost. I think it's cowardly. I'm very direct, so, but yeah, not a ghoster. But, disengaging, again, I want to be clear about sometimes disengaging too. It's not that you just say F off. It's like, you just, in the moment sometimes when there's like even an argument, you want to disengage from and just be like, I'm not going there. Okay, instead of having to fight it, just disengaging to preserve your energy. And that's one thing I had to learn. And sometimes still learning, because I always feel like I have to prove a point. And so I'm still learning that, But when it comes to heavy situations, that's when I'm just like, All right, so I'm just catching up the chat here. We got you, Maria. We got you back. We're all on your team. You got this. You need the strength. You need the wisdom. You need encouragement. You need the love. You need the perspective. All that, and the self-care. Like we said in the beginning of the collective, it's all about the self-care first, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. All right, and those of you who, again, the similar reads, it is annoying me because I'm like, come on, cards. But those of you who have the reads about the two directions, the one who's future-based, you'll understand it. And the one that was confirmatory, you're going to find connections in the future that are going to be very confirming about real loyalty in your life and getting it back. All right, I am done. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It's been, I would say today's energy has been very trying to me. I've been keeping my cool, because even Christopher, this morning, just trying to like log on. Like I logged into Zoom, it gave me the confirmation code. I entered the right one 5 times, and it blocked me out. Like what's going on here? And then I had no hard drives. It's just all this. But I love every single one of you guys. Yes, I'm going to have maybe a vape or something, a marijuana vape or something. Elisa, thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love the community we have here and the support that we have here. And I really appreciate, everybody looking out for each other, and especially guys chiming in too, in certain aspects of the reads. And I love seeing others' perspective being in there too, because I love a sense of community. And so thank you all for that. And Daryl, it's been great to see you. I appreciate the birthday wishes. And to those of you who have been watching, different format for my one-on-one sessions, and those in the room know my one-on-one sessions. I'm really connected with you. This feels somewhat disconnected for me because all I'm seeing is a picture and a name. But when I have someone in a session, it's very connected, and I can really go into depth and take the time to elaborate and to read more in specifics of the circumstances. So understand the format that we're doing these reads as well. But if you're interested in a one-on-one session, the link is in the description, scottcruisepm.com. Life readings, which entails a whole lot of health, relationships, career, all the different aspects of trauma healing, goes into depth. Intuition builder, if you want to learn how to establish your own and expand your own psychic abilities and awareness and mediumship abilities, I can also help you in understanding how to develop that, because I've been practicing this since I was a child, so I've been through a lot with this. And also mediumship sessions if you want to connect with someone who has crossed over. Okay, it's been a pleasure, guys. Again, every Thursday, same time, same place. Much love to all you all. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you next week. Much love, guys. And what should I put for my outro?
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table. This too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.